What's up, yokais? It's your boy, Steph, and welcome back to another Yokaishi TCG trading card game video. You know what? I think I might keep that intro from now on. I don't know. It's kind of growing on me. And before we get into this, I know you read the title, so you know I'm about to describe the status effects of my homemade TCG game. Before we get into that, I would just like to give a special thanks to everyone who showed me a lot of love and support in the last video. You guys really enjoyed it, and I'm happy you enjoyed it. I got really creative with the edits just because I was inspired and motivated, you know? I don't really script my videos, so this was more like an on-the-fly type of thing. While I was editing, I was like, you know what? I can add some video clips in here, you know? Play up the entertainment value and the comedy a bit. So, yes. But now, in this video, I am going to explain to you the status effects and how they work. Alrighty. And to help me give you examples, I'm going to be using like actual yokai cards that I have here. Most of them are cards that you've seen already from the previous yokai showcases, and there are some that have not been shown in yokai showcases, but yeah, so let's get right into it. So the first status effect I will go over is Scorch. Now, a yokai inflicted with Scorch gains a weakness to fire for 3 turns. Now, yokai who don't already have a weakness to fire can be inflicted with this status effect. If a yokai already has a weakness to fire, then naturally they cannot be inflicted with this status effect. And a fire yokai cannot be scorched unless specified. And what that means is fire yokai are naturally immune to being scorched because they're made of fire, unless there's a yokai with an effect that specifically says that it can scorch fire types, etc., etc. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, so like an example, we have here the Chochin Obake. I've talked about that in previous videos, and it can scorch people. So, and we also have the Mujina. This Mujina is weak to earth. It is not weak to fire. So if we were playing a game and, you know, we had our board set up the way it's supposed to be, this is not how it's set up, but this is just for like, you know, sharing the status effects and all that. But, you know, you can, if you were to scorch the Mujina, then it would be weak to both earth and fire, but it would only have the fire weakness for 3 turns. Now, in my game, how does weaknesses work? How do type advantages work? Well, it's quite simple, really. So, for example, this guy does a fire attack damage, and since he's not weak to fire, he does 1 damage, right? But once he becomes weak to fire due to Scorch and he does damage, he does +1 damage. So instead of 1 attack, he will be please focus. Okay, instead of doing 1 attack, if the Mujina is weak to fire due to Scorch, the Chochin will do 2 attack. So how weaknesses work, it's +1 damage for weaknesses. So yeah, that's how Scorch works. It lasts for 3 turns, and naturally there will be cards that can remove the status effect, or effects of yokai that can remove status effects. So don't worry, it's not going to be so broken and overpowered. Next status effect we have here is Soak. And for this example, I'll be using the Umi Bozu. Did I talk about this guy in a previous yokai showcase? No, I did not. I had him in my introduction. Quick quick little showcase here. This is the Umi Buzo, and it is a 2-sacrifice yokai. And its effect is when this yokai is summoned, every yokai in play is inflicted with soak. It has 8 HP and does 3 damage, and in my game, 3 damage is a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage!
And this is how he looks. I have it as like a giant like water spirit, humanoid water spirit. I'm gonna put up the full art for y'all right now. Bang. And yeah, so how soak, oh no wait, let me talk about this guy. Hold up. Yeah, the Umibozu is a giant water spirit. I'm talking like huge, you know, the size of buildings. And if you were to look it up online, it's normally depicted as like a giant like humanoid figure with like inky black skin and huge eyes. And to be honest with you, when looking at the imagery of this yokai, that thing is scary. That thing is legit scary. If I was out on sea and I saw that thing, I would probably die from fright. And secondly, I shouldn't be out at sea because I can't swim and I have a fear of the ocean. So naturally, I would be afraid of this thing. So yeah. So this guy causes soak when he's summoned to every yokai in play. Both you and your opponent's yokai will be soaked. And it makes sense because, I mean, look at him. You know, if you summon this guy and he's the size of a building and he's a giant water being spirit thingy, you bet your bottom dollar you're gonna get wet. You know, do not take that out of context, please. So, yes. And this is how soak works. A yokai inflicted with this effect gains a weakness to lightning for 3 turns. Naturally, the yokai you are inflicting should not have a weakness to lightning already, because if it does, then it's not going to work. And this is interesting because it's playing off of, you know, real life. Like, you know, water can conduct electricity. And yeah, so this puts up a good play for, like, if you have both water and lightning types in play. So, like, you know, you can have one yokai, please, okay, you could have one yokai cast soak and another just start doing lightning attacks, you know, doing that extra damage. So yeah, that's pretty simple. And also, water yokai cannot be soaked unless specified. So yeah, it's similar to like Scorch with fire types. Water yokais cannot be soaked. The thought process behind this is, if they're water type, chances are they already have mastery of water and all that such, and if anything, getting soaked will just help them. In fact, there are some yokai in the game that do get beneficial effects when they are soaked. So there is some future strategy plans in the works. So yeah, that is soaked. Next status effect is confusion. Confusion, and the yokai doing the example for us now is the Basan. Yes, the Basan. Now, quick little information about the Basan. The Basan is basically, it looks like a rooster, about the size of a rooster, and the only thing is it has the ability to breathe fire, but these flames are not, they're not real flames. They're like illusionary flames, magical flames that don't burn. And these creatures tend to communicate with each other with these flames. So every time they breathe, fire comes out, but it doesn't really burn anything. It's just flaming light, you know? So yeah. In my game, I have the Basan here, and it says, once per summon, this yokai can cast Confusion. Now, how does Confusion work? A yokai inflicted with this effect must flip a coin each action phase. There'll be another video talking about the game phases. Heads, your inflicted yokai attacks one of your own yokai. you must select which one, you know. Similar to like Pokemon, you know, it would attack itself, but in here it just attacks another yokai. If tails, nothing happens. This effect lasts for 3 turns. You know, pretty self-explanatory. So you know, you bam, so you summon it, and then it's your turn to act. You know, let's say it's like your main phase or whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna have Basan cast confusion on one of your yokai, boom boom, and then now your yokai's confused, and now each action phase, whether you're using the yokai or not, you're gonna have to flip a coin, and you know, if heads, it's gonna attack one of your own yokai, or if tails, nothing happens. So yeah, and naturally there will be, you know, cards and such that could defend against confusion or remove confusion, that sort of thing. So that is that. Not much information about the Basan. It's just a colorful rooster-like bird yokai that breathes something that looks like fire but doesn't really burn. However, in my game, it burns. Oh yeah, we have here that it is fire type, fire attack, and earth weakness. 4 HP and 2 attack. Not bad stats. So yeah. Next status effect. Let's see, the next status effect we have here is Curse. Alright, now we're getting into what yokai are known for doing. Cursing people. Not cursing out people, cursing people. So we have a yokai inflicted with this effect takes 1 point HP damage once per turn for 3 turns. Yeah, so, you know, for example, the Tengubi, you know, my phone has not been focusing very well. Okay. If this yokai is destroyed by another yokai, that yokai is afflicted with curse. So let's say this guy destroyed that. Boom. So now this one's dead. And this one's inflicted with curse. So for 3 turns, he's going to be losing 1 HP. And that's not good for him, because if you have him on your side, not doing anything for 3 turns, just for 3 turns, he's just going to be bleeding HP. And after the 3rd turn, he's dead because he has 3 HP, you know? So if you wanted to keep him alive, you would have to remove the curse or stop it from happening. So yeah, that's the curse. And is there any other info? Nope. It's pretty simple. That's the curse. And next up, the last status effect so far in the game is Stun. Now, a yokai inflicted with this effect cannot move or perform an action for 1 turn. Okay, for 1 turn. And yeah, so pretty self-explanatory, you know. It's like, you know, this guy can cast Stun. Focus, please. Let me pop up. Okay, this is the Tatari Moke. Yeah, the Tatari Moke. You probably might have seen you might have seen this on my Instagram story at some point, me drawing this. It is an owl with a cat face. The Tatari Moke is basically an owl possessed by the spirit of a child that has died, and haunts the family. Usually the owl would hang around the family property, and the family would simply take care of the owl, assuming that it is carrying the spirit of their child. It is said to, I think it is said to breathe fire or glow with like flames of light around it, something like that. Now it just looks like, now in the description it looks like a regular owl. I didn't feel like drawing a regular owl. I thought that would be too boring. So I was like, I'm gonna take some creative liberties and make this look weird. So I decided to give it a cat face. And there we have it. And for this effect, it says here, Let's see. When an opponent's yokai performs a switch, you can select one of the switched yokai and stun it. So yeah, stun, you can't do anything for one turn. Think of it as like Swords of Revealing Light, but just for one turn. The reason why it's one turn and not three, because it's for flexibility. There will be other yokai in the future that can, you know, stun you for just a standard one turn, or stun you for like a standard 2 or 3. You know, it depends on the yokai and the gimmicks and all that. So yes, that is stun, and those are the 5. Oh, my dog is going crazy. Okay, those are the 5 main status effects in the game. Those might be the only status effects in the game unless I think of more or anything like that. And I do want to go over another thing here. I did mention switch. So this is how switching works. Switching is a game mechanic. As you know, yokai tend to have, let's see, let's set something up here. Let's pretend, okay, these are feet. See, these are feet, this is the body. This is, okay, feet, torso, arms. Wait, let me move this onto camera. I wasn't looking through the lens here. Okay. Let's do a little simulation. This video is going to be a little bit long, but it's necessary to describe this element of the game. I hope you don't mind the long video. Now, so this is how switching works. We're going to be switching the Bakezori to the leg. Let's say it was a situation where we were battling and I wanted to summon a monster in the arm position because it was free, it was available, and I could only summon this guy because he was in my hand. So I said, boom, summon him, bam, right there, you know. But I want to utilize this effect, which is if this yokai is destroyed while set as a leg, take no sentinel damage, you know, because he's pretty, you know, he can take, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't want to risk taking sentinel damage, I got to get him to one of these leg positions. So what's going to happen is, let's say, for example, I play a spell card that allows a switch. And a switch allows the user to change the placement of 2 or more yokai in the sentinel. So let's say I play a spell card to switch the Bakezori with the Yama Orabi. So all I gotta do is whoop, and right there, switch. So now, because of that, boom, Bakezori effect is now activated. So if you destroy this guy while he's here, I take no damage. You know, I mean, he's dead, sure, but I don't take any sentinel damage. My life point, my sentinel point is safe. And that's pretty much it. You know, there are yokai that have effects that you can use. Sorry, I had a gas burp bubble in my throat. Yeah, you could use in certain body parts. That's like a strategy right there to, if you want to, you know, utilize certain yokai effects, you may have to switch them around, or even to counterplay your opponent. Let's say your opponent, you know, let's say, you know, your opponent, you're facing the person who has this yokai here, and it's the weakest yokai, you know what I'm saying? And you want to undo this effect, you can simply, let's say you have an effect to prevent a switch or to switch back. You know, you play a spell card of your own and be like, I'm gonna switch these guys back, and then you attack it, boom, it's dead. You know what I'm saying? Now I lose a sentinel point because you undid my play. So yeah, just thought I'd go into that. And with that, I'm looking at 20 minutes on the clock right now, so I don't want this video being too freaking long. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this was nice and informative. Yeah, socials down in the description below. Comment anything. You know, comment what you think of these effects or statuses. Good, not good, broken, not broken. Should there be more or less? You know, you let me know. Yeah. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.